Hello everyone and welcome to a new video that's going to be a bit different from the usual. We're in the new snapshot, the one that literally just dropped out, and we're here to check out the Ender Pearl change. So this is a new world. Let me just get in creative. So Mojang changed the way that the Ender Pearl works, and now Ender Pearl will now load chunks as it travels. So if I reduce my render sense, we can demonstrate this. So if I were to throw an Ender Pearl in these unloaded chunks over there, what would happen before is that the Ender Pearl would fly from where I am, go all the way to the edge of the unloaded chunk, and then stop there, basically. Because the chunks are unloaded simply, so the Ender Pearl would not move, it would stay there in place. And then when I would move forward and load the chunks, then the Ender Pearl would basically come back into the living world and keep on going and do whatever I was supposed to do. So that is called Pearl Hang, and it was useful for speedrunner, but sadly it doesn't work anymore, because if I throw a Pearl into another chunks, you will see it disappear from my screen, because, I don't see it, but it's still landed, because now the Ender Pearl loads its own chunk. So sadly it means that we cannot do Pearl Hangs anymore, but it comes with a lot of interesting things, and I'm gonna end up in the ocean, perfect. But yeah, it also means that you cannot cancel Ender Pearl, basically, anymore. So let me just, what is this tree? Why is it so big with a beehive on top? Anyway, let me just put a portal over here, because we're gonna go to the end and check out things there. So first I need to get rid of the beloved dragon, and you're dead. Boom. So yeah, why is the fact that Ender Pearl load chunk so important? Well, because now if you do an Ender Pearl stasis chamber, on top of being really useful when you want to go back to your base or anything, you can now use this as a chunk loader. And it also means that you do not need to chunk load your Pearl Stage chamber, they will always be loaded now. So there we go, this is a Pearl Stage chamber, basically. The Ender Pearl will just float in the water endlessly. And also, it is currently chunk loading this area. So contrary to normal chunk loader, which is a nether portal chunk loader, this Ender Pearl is only gonna load one chunk around itself as entity ticking. It's only gonna load the 3 surrounding as redstone ticking, regular chunk loading rules. Whereas the difference with nether portal is that a nether portal would load 3 by 3 as entity ticking. So all 9 chunks would be loaded as entity ticking, and then obviously a layer around it of redstone ticking, etc., etc. So this is one of the reasons why it's gonna, I think, get more traction, is this difference with the nether portal. It is much more lag efficient, because this only tick basically just one chunk. The other chunk is still loaded, but only for redstone component. So it don't take as much computing resources. But this, again, load only one chunk, whereas a nether portal loads a 3 by 3 area of entity ticking chunks. So 9 chunks in total, but a nether portal also load a second dimension, and also 9 chunks in the other dimension. So basically, a nether portal constantly load 18 chunks in your world, whereas this only load 1, which is really, really cool. And also this allows you to chunk load the end, which was not possible before. Yes, recently we got the change that passing entities through the end portal would load the area around it, but you can only do it on this or the spawning platform, and it would only load basically the chunks around the end portal frames. It wouldn't load anything else, like you wouldn't be able to load an end city, for instance. But now you can with this. You just have to put an Ender Pearl in water, and in bubble columns, make it float basically endlessly, and this is constantly loaded. And you couldn't do that before, because you can obviously not build a nether portal in the end. It is forbidden. As you can see, I'm gonna build this, and it's not gonna work. Like, I tried to light it up, it's not working, and yeah, I can put fire, but the portal itself, it's not working. And sorry, yeah, I put one mortal, but it doesn't matter. It should still light up, and as you can see, it is not, because you cannot build nether portal in the end. So previously, end loading was not possible, and now it is. Let me just show you actually that it's actually working. So if I put right here a repeating command block that say hello from the end, always active, it's gonna destroy my chat. But if I exit the end, as you can see, it's still saying that, even though it shouldn't, because I'm not in the end anymore. The dimension should be unloaded, but the Ender Pearl is loading that command block. And so I can show you what I was talking about, the fact that it only loads one entity ticking chunk. So this is entity ticking. Let me actually show you that directly. So if I do game rule spectator generate chunks to false, and we go into spectator, right now you won't see a difference, but if I reconnect, oh wow, that's not what was supposed to happen. Interesting. I put it to false, right? Okay, I don't know why it's not working in the end. That's actually very interesting. But basically, this is what I wanted to show, is that this NPL is only loading this one single chunk, basically, as entity ticking only. Again, if I were to have like redstone components or a common block here, it would work. Let me actually show you that real quick. So if I place a repeating common block that say hello from world 1, and I do the same over here, but I put 2, and I forgot to put them in always active. So always active this one, always active that one. You see that both of them are talking. If I go into spectator and I relog, you can see we still have 1, 2, 1, 2. Let me actually put a third one so we can really see the difference. So if I put a third one like one chunk further, that says number 3, always active. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. If I go in spectator, you can see already that it's not working. It's only 1 and 2 because this one is unloaded now. And we can see it when we reconnect, that only this chunk now appears, because apparently the client only renders entity ticking chunk and not redstone ticking chunk, because this is a redstone ticking chunk. I'm not sure why it doesn't render, but anyways, that's how it works apparently. So yeah, like entities over here wouldn't move, for instance. So that's something to keep in mind when working with these new chunk loaders, is they only load the chunk they're in as entity ticking, which is contrary to the wall spawn, which is 3x3, and nether portal, which is also 3x3, basically the same size. This is smaller, one chunk radius smaller. But again, like I said, this has really interesting implications, because this can be used as a cheap chunk loader. So if you don't have many resources to use, then you can use that. There's just one downside with this though. Let me just get some things. There we go. If I die, the NPL is gonna die with me. So that's something to keep in mind, is that this new chunk loader technique is not permanent, basically. If I kill myself and respawn, the NPL is not there anymore. So that's something to keep in mind. You will have to refuel them whenever you die. But they have something else in their sleeve. And let me go back to the end to demonstrate that. So if I put back my NPL over here. Oh. Let me real quick show you that this is only 2 chunks, like I said. So this is the 2, and this is going to be the 3. There we go. So we have 0 to 3, 0 to 3. If I go in spectator, you can see that it's... Interesting. While I'm in the end, apparently, even if I'm in spectator, the whole end island is loaded. That might be normal, actually. Let me just check something. If I exit the end, though, yeah, there we go. We have only 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Interesting. I didn't know that the end of the dimension worked like that. Now that I think of it, maybe I read something about it, but I completely forgot. I never used that behavior. So what's interesting with this chunk loader as well is that it will automatically restart itself whenever the game restarts. I mean, whenever I log back in the game. We'll get into that in a bit. The advantages that this gives you is now you can chunk load, obviously, the end. That wasn't chunk loadable. Oh, shit, I broke it. But you couldn't chunk load before. No, you can. And as well, it allows you to have self-resetting chunk loaders. Let me show you what I mean by that. Like, if I were to leave the end, right, it's still working. But now, if I were to stop the server, for instance, a nether portal-based chunk loader would stop working when the server restarts. But as you're able to see, it's not the case here. When I log back in, the hello from the end comes back. So this is really interesting, right? The chunk loader restarted itself. So I just built a regular like nether chunk loader just to show you what I mean by the differences. So first, if we go in spectator and we disconnect, we will see that the chunk loader is chunk loading its own chunk, and then another chunk as entity ticking. We can say that it's compared to the ender pearl that was only loading like one chunk visibly, like as entity ticking. This one is loading 3 chunks. And again, remember, I also load the overworld. So that's what I meant by this is 18 chunks, like 9 chunks over here as entity ticking, plus 9 chunks on the other side as entity ticking. Whereas an ender pearl is single dimension and 1 chunk only. So I really think that these chunk loader load way too many chunks compared to what it's supposed to load. The only advantage they have is that if you die, they don't stop working. But you'll see that we will probably need to use both in conjunction, nether portal and ender pearl loaders. I'll show you why in a bit. But basically, obviously, this works. So if I put a common block here and I say hello from the nether, this is gonna start displaying a chat. And if I go back to the overworld, so it's still saying that, even if I disconnect and reconnect. But watch what happens if I get away from it. And so if I disconnect, reconnect, it's still gonna work. But what if I stop the server? So you can see right now I have hello from the end and the nether. But after a server restart, we will have only hello from the end. Oh, and then the nether because I'm too close to it. Hold on, let me... Oh, but simulation distance doesn't matter, I'm on a server. Hold on. So I just flew, I'm in the middle of the ocean right now. We're gonna do the same test. So we still have end and nether running. And after a restart, what we're gonna do is only have the end. the nether is not loaded anymore. But when I get close to it again, but once we load it again, as you can see, the hello from the nether is back again. So that is the issue. We need to load this chunk to restart this type of chunk loader. The end one didn't need any of that. The end one was still just active all this time. But what we can do now is put both of them together. So you need to make sure that since Enderpearl only nodes entity chunk only one chunk, you need to make sure that your Enderpearl is gonna entity tick the chunk where this dropper is. Like, it needs to tick the entity that's gonna thrown out of the dropper, otherwise it will not be able to go through the portal. So this block is basically the block you need to chunk load. So I can just put my Enderpearl right here, and now I put my Enderpearl. So now this Enderpearl is chunk loading this area around me, and this is gonna chunk load the other side, the nether. And we want this chunk loader to be active all the time, basically. That's what we want. But before this new change, if we were to disconnect the server, as you saw, that nether chunk loading would stop working. But now, let me just get a bit further in this direction, and we're gonna kill the server again. So the server is back, it's been running for a while, and now, when I connect back, you will see that we will get both the end and the nether back online. Boom, the end and the nether back online, both of them, because of that extra pearl loader that I added next to the portal loader. So that's how the use for these is that you can now use them to basically instantly repair or restart your portal-based chunk loaders that would otherwise break. But again, the only issue with these ones is if you die, then they break. So these ones break when you restart the world or the server, and these ones break when you die. You don't have a chunk loader that is permanent. But we might be able to find a way to easily replenish these. We're gonna have to see. But in the meantime, basically using both of these, as long as you don't die, so if you always have your totem of dying in your offhand, then this might be an option for you, as you want to ensure that these never break. But basically you could use these to ensure your nether portal based chunk loader always restart when you restart your world, and you don't have to manually restart them. So that's interesting. But again, yeah, you need to remember that when you die, you need to put back the Enderpearls. That's the only downside of this. So they're becoming very useful. You can use them to restart chunk loaders. You can use them to chunk load the end, any part of the end, like even the end island with the end cities. And you can also use them to load like a smaller area, just one chunk, for instance, in one dimension, or you can have two side by side and load two chunks. But basically they're less lucky than these big chunk loaders. And they have one last secret in them. So, the last secret that these guys have is that whenever you disconnect, the Enderpearl will disconnect with you, which means that you can now detect when somebody is online and when somebody is not online. By simply having like a tripwire or something that will detect that an entity is inside, as you can see the Enderpearl is detected here, like the tripwire is triggering, you can now detect when the Enderpearl is here. So since it's a bit finicky, you can put a repeater on 4 tick, and now even in the Enderpearl is like just jumping in and out, you can see the thing is flickering. The repeater is making this stable. And now you can use this output to detect whenever somebody logs on or off, because again, the Enderpearl is linked to your player. So if you have another stage chamber over here for your friend or whatever, you can detect when you're online, or when he's online, or when you disconnect, or when he disconnects, or both, or like you can do anything you want. You can detect per player whenever they disconnect or log back in. So let me show you real quick how that would work. For instance, you could have, so this repeater is going to turn off whenever I log off. So this torch is going to turn back on after a small delay. So if I have a command log that says say log off, this is going to trigger whenever I log off. And I can also have, like, whenever this repeater turns back on, it's going to power this block. So I could even have something that says, say, log in when I log back in. Let me just also get some lamps so we can better visualize this. So this lamp is going to turn on whenever I'm not online, and this one's going to turn off, obviously. But then when I come back online, this one is going to turn off, and this one's going to turn on again. As you can see, this one is on and this one is off because, well, I'm online currently. So when I log off, the lamps are going to switch. I'm going to log off and log back in, and you'll see, like, for a very short moment that the lamps will be inverted. Ready? Boom. As you can see, the lamp just switched, and we got the login message, and I can even maybe get the log off message if I'm fast enough. No, I was too fast. The repeater didn't have time to log off. And there we go, we got the log off and login. Nice. So as you can see, it works very well. You can detect like a log off and login of somebody. You can know if they're online or not just by checking by lamps or whatever. So I don't know what this could be used for, but you can hook this to any system, obviously, like not common blocks. But yeah, I don't know what you guys can come up with this, but we already had a way to do this before, but it was with cat sitting on a chest. Let me actually show you this real quick. So as you can see, when a cat is on a chest, you can't open the chest. When it's sitting on a chest, if it's up, you can open the chest. But so yeah, as you can see in this chest, there is an item. I can actually put another one with a hopper. A hopper can put item in the chest, but the comparator cannot read it. But if I were to sit the cat up and give an update to the comparator, as you can see, the comparator detects that the cat stand up. So let me real quick build a way to constantly update this comparator. So if I put a barrel with a hopper that cannot suck the item that is in the barrel, then this is constantly giving update to that comparator. So whenever I leave that cat, boom, as you can see, the comparator is responding. If you don't understand this, it doesn't matter. As you can see now, whenever that cat lifts up, this turns on or off. So you could use this as well for a player online detector. You could do basically the exact same that I had before. So this, and a torch, log off, there we go. So I broke this one, obviously, but we can test the cat. So now if I disconnect and then log back in, you will see nothing. So yeah, I had it backwards. The cat doesn't stand up when you log off, it stands down. So you need to have it standing up. So now it's just leashed so it doesn't escape basically. And this is probably irrelevant. There we go. So yeah, it's standing up, and when I log off, it will stand down, locking down the chest and triggering the log off message basically. And you will see again the lamp switching off. See, the lamp changed and it said log on. So this is another way to do it. Let me see if I can get the log off message. Oh wow, I'm looking so fast that the server is not allowing me to log back in. Oh, I never see this. So you can see it in game, but I can see it in the console that the log off message is in the display. I'll show you on screen. But yeah, basically this works as well as the end up loading. So I still think this is a better way to detect player logging in or off. Because when you die, then this one would stop working, but this one would still work. So if you're interested, you should maybe build one of these instead. And that's going to be it for today. So basically, no underpearls can be used as a cheap chunk loader, a way to chunk load the end, or dimensions where you can put water, as well as a player online offline detector, or a way to restart your normal chunk loader when you restart the game or restart the server. There was a couple of just changing the snapshot, but this is the one I was the most interested in, so that's the one I'm going to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new, or you thought of something useful to use these new things for. If you have any new idea with these new change, please put it down in the comment. I'm quite curious to see what you guys can come up with. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!